This conference will now be recorded.
Hi everyone. We'll wait for one more minute for others to join. Then we'll start our session. I hope my voice is audible. If you can't hear me, do let me know. I hope my screen is visible. Let's start our today's session. So in yesterday's session, what we have done is we have installed IDE, that IntelliJ, and we have installed JDK, and we have created our very first program in Java. We didn't write any code. With the help of IDE, we got some sample code, and that sample code we were going through. We were able to run the code and see the result like this. This was the one we have checked in previous session. So now let's go through the skeleton of your Java program and the structure you see in the IDE. So both the things you should be understanding. Then only when you do a development, it will be easy for you. This is purely for your real hands-on experience, more than an interview. When you are doing any development by your own, if you face any issue, if you get any error, then you should know where the file would be, what are the files I need, whether it is added properly or not. So you'll get an idea. For that only, we are going to see how the files are arranged in your IDE. So yesterday you would have seen I have created a new project itself. The project name is Core Java. Under the project, you can see two folders. One is out folder, another is SRC folder. SRC is nothing but the short form of source. So source means what are all the code you are writing, what are all the class files, interfaces, the files which you are writing or creating would be available in the source folder only, your source code. So these are the technical terms you will use when you land into the development world. So that's why I'm using the same technical words also, so that you will be familiar with those terms. So source code means the code which you write, the class file, as in our aspect, that is today's aspect, my source code is the main class created by IDE. So the main class would be there, and when I compile it, there are two things. Yesterday would have seen I clicked one green button, immediately I got the text. Whatever the text I have written here, you can see it in the output. This is my output screen. So I'm seeing it. But behind the scene, like in the background, two things would have happened. One is compilation and the second one is execution. Okay, so what is compilation, what is execution? Let's see. You are writing some code. I've told you yesterday also. With the help of you will be converting your code to a byte code. That is, the .java code will be changed as a .class file. So that is called compilation. Once you compile the code, you will be handing that file to someone else. Say your friend is going to use your calculator program, or any other customer is going to use your calculator. Means what you will do? You will give this class file to them. They will install in their machine and they will use it. That part is called execution. So you will compile and you will execute. For a demo purpose, for a training purpose, what we are doing? We are doing the compilation and execution in the same machine itself. That's why when I click on run, I'm getting the result in my own screen itself. In real time, you will write the code, you will see the result, but you will create the class files and the class file will be handed over to the end user. Whoever wants it, they will be using it. So here, when I get some output, that is the class files and all will be stored here. You can see in the src folder, you have a file creator, and in the out also you have a file creator. So this is out is nothing but your output folder. src is your source folder. Apart from that, the very important thing which you have to concentrate here is the libraries. So I'm typing something, I'm getting some different color coding, and I'm printing something and I'm getting an output. How it's all happening? For this also there are some codes already written, and a jar files are all created for it. Everything is programming, everything is a development. When you land into a programming world, whether you are doing the coding or the people who is supporting you. So Oracle is giving you Java means they have a set of developers who will write code. So based upon that code only, I'm getting all these screens, all these stacks, all these values, everything. So previously, to help me, to help the Java developers, there are some other developers who has developed these jars, and the jars and libraries I'm using for my development. So the external libraries are the libraries it is needed for me to do the development. So for now, you can don't need to worry about these external libraries and all, because it is all automatically available. Olden days, you have to manually download, add it to your class path, some environment variable changes, so many things we used to do. But nowadays, it's all handy. Everything is coming automatically. So it's good to learn that there is a path called external libraries where you will have jars. If you are planning to do a development which is not supported by the default jars in this folder, then you can go for the download of additional jars. But for our training purpose, we can go ahead with the what are the jars we have. That is itself sufficient. We don't need to worry about much on this. So three folders you have to consider. The very first is your source folder, second thing is out folder, and third thing is your external libraries. In your IDE, these are the folders you have to concentrate. You don't need to specifically spend time to see all those things. Just it's good to learn. If you find some issue somewhere, where I can go, somebody is giving a suggestion that you are getting error, so go and change this file, mean that time you should not spend time to find where the files are available. If you know these three folders, yes, you can very well go to the folder and search the file and do the modification. So coming back to our structure, so you can see when a file, this is a file actually, when a file, a sample file is created, there are some different color codings you can see. Some are in this color, some are in white color, some like this. So different color codings are there. There is a reason for this color coding. Okay. Very first thing what we will be seeing here is your class name. This we call it as class. Okay. What is class and all I'll be covering. For now, you just consider that there is something called a class. So Everything is class. When you come into the OOPS world, classes and interfaces only would be there. So for now, you think that there is something called class. When I am creating a class, so it means that I'm creating a new file. The file name and your class name should be same. If I'm changing something like this, immediately I'll get an error. When I take my cursor over there, it will say that should not be declared in a file. Okay, so this file name is different, this class name is different, so you can't use it. What you can do, you can rename the file. If you want to maintain the class name like this, then you have to rename the file, or based upon the file name you can rename the class, vice versa. Both the things you can do. So what is understanding? Your file name and your class name should be same, the very first point. And the different color codings, what and all they are using, these are the keywords in Java. For every word, public, there is a meaning for it. Class means it is a class. If you are using interface, you will say interface. Again, I'm saying what is class, what is interfaces and all I will cover later. For now, I'm just saying these are the keywords, a reserved word. So these are the reserved words in Java. You should not use the reserved word for your naming convention, that is for your class names. So I'm giving a name. So you are coming and say there are 3-4 sessions are happening, like one core Java training is happening, one Spring Boot training is happening, one Angular training is happening. So for every training we should name, this is a Java training, this is Spring Boot training, and this is Angular training. Some name we are giving, right? Similarly for the class we are giving some name. So by default, my IDE has provided, my editor has provided me a name called main. So this is the class name. Going forward, I will say that this is the class name. I can change it also. So what I'm going to do now is, we are going to create our very first program, right? So hello world. Okay, instead of main, what I'm doing is I'm changing the file name itself. Now you see, I changed the class file, immediately I got an error. So the IDE has provided an option. When I click on rename, you can see the top, the name is also changed. So this is how it will be. Your class name and your file name should be same. So I'm adding a meaningful name. Instead of main, I'm adding a meaningful name. So the very first line would be, this is how it will be: public class allow world. So public means it is giving some, it is related to the access, who and all can use this class. If everyone can access, everyone can use this class, then we will say public. If you feel that no, it should not be used by others, I want to keep it privately, means you can make it private. There is one more access modifier like producted available. It is advanced topic. I'll be covering when I'm doing the OOPS related sessions. So for now, we can do only public related. So the initial demos and all I'll be using publics. So for now, you think that there is a, this is called access modifier and it is public. So public means this particular class, this allowable class can be accessed by anyone. Then for every program to execute, there should be a method called main method. What is method? Method is nothing but group of statements. It will have some statements to execute. So this is one statement. I told you, right? Like when you log into a online shopping, let's take an online shopping example itself. I'm not writing the actual code, just giving an example to you. What you will do, you will open the URL, you will have a login page. So for example, I'm creating one method for, and here I'll explaining what is method and all in detail. For introduce, if I say everything will be discussed later, it will be confusing for you, so I'm giving high level information about methods. So I want to log in. Login means it will ask me the username, password, and I will be submitting the username and password. So what I can do is I can create a method called login, and what this login will have, it will show error because I'm not giving the proper format for method, so it is giving error. But this is how we do. This is a theoretical part we're discussing. So what and all we'll do, just some algorithm I'm writing. Okay, usually in college this we used to do, right? Some algorithm. So we will enter username. Then I will enter password. Then I will click submit. So these three actions I will be doing when I want to log in. Instead of giving this 1, 2, and 3, I can give the Java instruction, the Java code itself I can write inside that, and group of a set of instructions. I'm giving instructions, right? Enter username, enter password, and click on submit. These are the instructions we are giving to the machines. Like, I got the username, please take it. I got the password, please validate it. The person has clicked on submit, check whether the username and password combinations are correct. Some validations, some authentications we are doing, right? So a method is nothing but a group of or a sequence of instructions, and we are grouping and we are giving a name. So finally what it is, I'm going to log in. So in login, these are the instruction it should perform. And when I want to place the order, these are the set of instruction it should do. And when I want to go for the payment, then these are the actions I should do. So when you grouping some activities together, a particular functions to complete. So login is a function, right? So it should complete. So that we call it as method. So detail about method, what are arguments and all, I'll be discussing later. For now, to explain you about the main method, I was like taking some high level information. So main method should be there in your program. This is the first point where your program start execute. You can have n number of class files. You can have 10 class files. For our demo, I have only one hello world class file now, but in real time you will have 10, 20, 30, whatever maybe. Your program will land, it will start from this main method only. It will look for the main method. So from the main method only, it will redirect to different methods, or it will be calling different classes and all. So the process will continue. But the very first place, when I execute a project, I'm talking about the project level. When I execute a project, the very first level where it will land is your main method. So here, the second line is I have a main method. And what is static, what is void and all, I'll be discussing. These are all different topic itself. For now, you think that whenever I am planning to do a example, I will have this structure for sure, this default structure. I'll create a class and I will have a static main method, then some functionality I will be adding inside that. For a demo purpose, I'm not adding any complex logic into that. One print statement. So this system dot out dot println is the output statement. That is, I'm printing something. If I want to print something in my console, I'll be giving this syntax. This is the syntax. Inside this, what and all I'm giving in the double quotes. So starting double quotes and ending double quotes. Between the double quotes, what and all I'm giving, it will be shown into my console. So it is a print statement. So this is the one we have. But if you ask me, is this the complete skeleton of Java program? Means no, there is something needed. What it is? It is called package. Okay, what is package? Let's discuss. Then we will go to the part. There is a supermarket available. You want to purchase something, so you are visiting a supermarket. That supermarket has so many things. Like, it will have your groceries, your veggies, your fruits, or so many things are available. So supermarket is a place, it has group of items which is needed for you. Everything are available. A group of items are available. Similarly here, the supermarket is equivalent to package in Java. So what is package? Package is nothing but group of similar classes. So I have a class called hello world. Then tomorrow I feel that I want to create one more class for collecting a student information. Then I feel that I need one more class for creating attendance list of students. So many classes, day 1, day 2, day 3, I'm creating new classes. Means I don't want to keep the classes here and there. I want to group them together, because I'm creating these classes for whom? For the full stop training courses only I'm creating the class. So I want to group them together and I want to bundle them together and I want to keep it in under one umbrella. So that umbrella is nothing but package. Package is group of similar classes. So I have to give some name. So name I'll be giving like this. So this is how we will name our package. So always your package starts with, even after you learn to do a real development in your organization, if you get placed in a company, it can be any famous companies like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, or maybe this is how they will name. Com dot your company name will come. For us, we can even give Isha also because we are doing the courses under Isha training, right? So we can give Isha also. So the standard format what the regular developer will follow in any organization is com dot company. But it's up to you. You can create anything. It won't stop you. But I'm telling the standard format also. Like when you become a developer, this is how the people would have used it. You can open your code and see it also. It is throwing me an error. I'm adding a package. It is throwing me error. Why means it is not placed under a folder. So I have to mouse over and say that move to package com.company. So you just have a look at here under SRC. I have my allow world alone. Okay, nothing is there. So when I click on it, when I say that move to package com company, you can see there will be a folder created under SRC. There will be a folder called com. Under com, there will be a folder called company. Under that folder, I will have my allow world code. This is how it will be placed. So going forward, how many class files I'm creating with this package name, everything will be piled up under this package name. Why we are doing it is for the good maintenance. And finally, when somebody asks me, can you please hand over the code, course materials, whatever maybe, I can very well give the package. So I can package this class files and all, and I can hand it over to the user whoever wanted. That is why we have the concept of package. So what is package? Just recollect your supermarket informations. Like supermarket is a place where you will have everything you want. Okay, again, in supermarket you can't expect something else which is not suitable to the area. Okay, you can't expect some other items like some plumbing items, some electrical items, that and all you can't see. What you can see, what is needed for your household things, you can see, that is your kitchen related items and all you can see. So that's why group of similar items you can call it as package. Then next thing I was telling, right? So this is a skeleton. The skeleton of our Java would be like this. Right. Sharing my screen. So this is my skeleton or anatomy of Java program. It will have a package. Inside the package, you will have classes. Inside each class, you will have methods. So this is the skeleton. So either you can call it as anatomy or you can call a structure of Java program or a skeleton of Java program. This is the answer. So if somebody asks you an interview question, can you please tell me the anatomy of a Java program? Then you can tell package, class, methods. This is the hierarchy we will be following. Now, let's go back to our code itself. So I've told something called public, right? For this also I can give an example. Again, we can take the supermarket example itself. There is a supermarket open. So anyone can enter into the supermarket. They can buy whichever they want and they can come, like they can pay and they can come out of the supermarket. So it is publicly accessible. Any public member can go, whoever has money actually, they can go, they can buy, they can pay, they can come out. But There are some places in the supermarket. Okay, you can go to the places where the food items are available. But there are some places in the supermarket, especially the cashier area, the place where they will keep the cashes. Will they allow us to enter there? No. The billing counter, that is, you can stand in the opposite direction. You can't get into the place where they will keep the money. They won't allow you. It is a restricted area. It is a private area. Only the employees of the supermarket can access it. A public, that is the end user, the customer can't enter into the area. So that is called private or restricted area. So access modifier is something related to that only. If you want this class to be used by anyone, then you will say it as public. That is in supermarket where they kept the food items. Those are all publicly accessible area. That is fine. If you feel that I don't want this class to be used by others, I don't want to allow others to use my class, I want to restrict the access, means I will change the name it that I will change the name from public to private, so that even in supermarket, the billing sections, the cashier area, it is not allowed for everyone. That is everyone in the sense it is not allowed for the customers, but the employees they can go and come. So limited access would be allowed. So that is the difference between public and private access modifier. Now this is done. So my package is there, my class is there, my method is there. This is the anatomy of my Java program. There are some more things that is also part of the anatomy only. Uh, Comments. Okay, this is the one of the best practice. Why I'm telling in the very beginning itself. Something if you tell in the beginning, you will continue and you will follow the same thing. Some people they used to cover the comments or they will give a least priority. But to me, comments are the one of the important thing you have to follow. So why comment is needed? Comments is nothing but it will be there in your class file. You can see that it will be there, but it won't be compiled. It won't be executed. So even now I was showing some examples and all. I was typing some algorithms and all. If I want to keep some instructions, there are 10 associates are working in a team, like employee 1, employee 2, employee 3. The 10 associates are working in a team. And yesterday, employee 1 has added some code because he got some requirement from the TL. TL said that in login functionality, you have to add some extra logic. That is, whenever user enter the username with special character, we should not allow the username should not have a special character. Some conditions they have recently introduced as per the organization protocol, or they feel that no password means they should have 8 to 12 characters. Some new conditions organization has announced. In our existing code we don't have this logic, can you please add it logic? So TL gave the instruction to the employee 1. He has added. Next day the same file you are opening and you got confused why suddenly there are 10 to new lines are there. Day before yesterday I worked on this file, nothing was there, but suddenly today I can see 10 new lines are there in the file. You will get confused because the conversation has happened between the employee 1 and the tech lead only. They didn't tell you the requirement. So when you open, you will get confused. If you want to add something, what you will think that somebody added some junk code, let me go and delete the code. There are some cases it happened also. To avoid all those things, what we will do is we will use something called comments. Comments are not the exact Java program like coding you are doing. It is some instruction we are giving. So what we will do, this is called single line command. There are two types of command. When I do double slashes like this and I type that this code is newly added to modify the login mechanism, some instruction. And some people have the practice of adding the dates also, when it is added, who is added. I don't think it is really needed, those are all junk. But at least the relevant information why it is added, it is not the junk code, it is a company requirements or added some instruction to the other team members you can give. So this is called uh, single line command. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to execute this code again. When I execute the code, you can very well see that the same hello world is printed. What and all I've typed here, it is not at all available in the console. Why? Because this code is intended only for the instructions, that is for any new person who wants to read it, they can read. But this is not the instruction to the machine. This is the general notes to somebody else who is opening the file and seeing. This is not the instruction to the machine. That's why it is not showing in my console. You can either give a single line command. For example, if I want to type multiple lines, you can split like this. Or I feel that I don't want to have something like this 10 lines like this. I don't want to do. What I can do is there is something called multi-line commands. Okay, so the multi-line commands means instead of giving a double slash, I can do a slash star. This is to tell that this is the beginning of the multi-line command. If I want to, unless I type something, everything would be like commented only. You can see a different color coding. It is clearly stated that when it is grayed out, it is clearly stated that it won't be considered as a machine instruction. It is for the notes only. So somewhere I have to stop, right? The end, this is the starting point. This is the ending point. If I say that the star slash, it means that it is ended. I can type any junk value here. You can't see any error. But if I type the same AA outside this, immediately you can see a red mark. It is an error because it is not placed under the commands. Some junk thing I'm typing. So it is trying to convert this as a machine instruction and it failed to do because it is a junk thing I'm typing. So it is saying that some error has happened. This is not the correct syntax. Can you please correct your syntax? Something like that they will say. So this is called comments. So comments, single line also you can do, multi-line also will do. Single line command, what is the endpoint is whenever you type A, B, C, D, whatever maybe, and when you press on enter, it is over. That is the delimiter you are using. When you press enter, that is the end of the line. But for this, you have to specifically mention like this slash star and star slash. So is this clear? This comments, single line comments and multi-line comments. Any doubt in this section? Okay. Next thing what we are going to see is again a good practice. I will be covering all the good practices in the beginning itself so that you will follow the good practice throughout your journey. So next good practice is naming convention. What is naming convention? Okay. So the naming conventions are nothing but this is not rules. Again, I will highlight it. This is not the rule. It is not the compulsory you have to do, but it is a good practice you have to do. Like some of the Java community, they have decided that if you follow this naming convention, it will be easy for other developers. Like you are doing a development and randomly you are doing as of you wish and you submitted the code. Somebody else, if they want to work on the same file the next day, it should be easy for them also. Then only they can write the own activity. If they spend so much of time to understand your code, then when they will write their code? So we have to follow some naming convention, some best practices that will help or that will make the work of a developer easy. So few of them we are going to discuss. Before going to the naming convention, I will give some of the tips. That is, when you are developing something, when you are doing any coding, please try to give some relevant names to the class files, method files, or the class and methods and variables. Don't give randomly like class 123, class ABCD. Please don't give like that. give some relevant names which is related to the activity. It is in, if you are doing some addition of two number, if you are doing some calculator operations, then give the name as calculator itself here and do your activity. Give the class name as calculator. Don't give a class name as 1234 and have the business logic of calculator inside this method. Your code will work. There is no doubt in that. But after 6 months, when you itself open and see the file, you will get confused. What is this file name? Because class name and file name would be same. So if you give a class name of 1234, the file name will also be like that. And what you will feel? Why it is like that? What is the logic? So again, you have to spend extra time to open the file and see what is the content available. It is waste of time for you. So instead of doing all those things, what we will do is we will give a relevant name to the class files. Not only for class files, wherever it is possible, your methods, your variables, wherever it is possible, instead of giving some junk names or your name, some people what they will do, they will give their name itself. Words like Babu, Ashok, whatever maybe, they will give the name itself there, like class name Babu, class name Ashok. What will happen is there are two things. Very first thing is if something goes wrong, you will be easily caught. By seeing your name, they will come to know that yeah, Ashok only did this thing, and they will easily come to you and they will catch you. That is very rarely will happen, but still I'm just taking a sample. Second thing is the same file will be packaged and it will be given to somebody else. That is not good, right? When somebody see a class name of Ashok or Babu, that is not really good. So please don't use your name, your family member's name, your friend's name as a class name, method name, or a variable name. That is not the recommendation. So now coming back to the naming conventions, these are the naming convention which is recommended by the community people. Again, these are all the good practice. There is no compulsion that you have to do like this, then only your code will compile, nothing like that. But if you follow this, it will be easy for you. When you see the code next time, it will be easy for your other fellow members. So first thing is classes. So for class, you should start the name with uppercase and it should be a noun. So for classes, it should be an uppercase and it should be noun. So what is this? Let's see. So I have created a class. Okay. If I want to do some activity, I want to create one more class, for example, something related to an employee. I'm planning to gather employee related information. Means what I can do? I can give the class name itself as public class employee. The very first letter should be uppercase and it should be noun. Why it should be noun? Because there are different options. When you use verb, it is a method. When you use an adjective, it is an interface. So always have the practice of using the noun. Noun in the sense, the class name can be something like car, fruits, vegetables, students, college, something like that you can give. It is the more relevant and meaningful things instead of giving some junk. So the naming convention. Okay, so what we are checking now, the topic which we are discussing now is naming convention. So first thing is class. For a class, first letter, again I'm saying not every letter should be in uppercase. First letter should be uppercase and it should be noun. If I give something like this also, it will accept. Okay, instead of noun, if I say that if I give this lowercase also, it will accept. That is not the problem in compilation, but good practices we are discussing. So as a good practice, you can do like this. Next thing is your method. Method means it should start with lowercase and it should be a verb. And say I told you, right, I have a method login I've created for you. Say for example, I want to add two numbers. I want to create a method means I can say add some verb, it is some action, it is add, subtract, multiply, login, some verb, some action I'm doing. Method or nothing but I told you, right, list of activities, list of instructions we are giving. So it is an activity only, something you are going to do, some actions you are going to do. So you can give your verb names there. So some of the regularly used things are like main, your default thing is there, then add would be there, subtract would be there, and check, validate. So these are the things we regularly use as a method name. So you can give a lowercase, that is, it starts with a lowercase. If you want more than one word, like if you want to give more than one word, like add number or subtract numbers, something like that, instead of giving space, what you can do is you can give the very first letter. Okay, the first letter of the second word. There are two words, right? Add is one word, number is another word. If you are planning to give two words for a method name, then you can have a uppercase for the second word. So this is the naming standard we do follow for the methods. So methods, lowercase and verb. Okay, and next thing is variables. So what is variables, I'll be discussing. For now it is like a placeholder. You think that it is a placeholder, and there is a concept called variables. So for variables, it should be, again, this is also same thing like your method, it should be a lowercase. If there are multiple, then this is the format we will be using. So for employees, I am given a task that I have to collect the first name, last name, those details, means I'll be giving some variable name. So how can I give first name, something like this. The first letter should be a lowercase, and the, if I'm planning to use two words, then instead of giving a space, I can have a uppercase for the second word. For variables, these are the different reserved things in Java. Each and everything we will be discussing in detail. What is class, methods, and variables and all. For now, you just keep it that if I'm planning to use a variable in future, this is the standard I'm supposed to follow. So just that alone you can keep. So this is also lowercase and next thing is package. So package, let's go back and see. Okay, package, we have already created a package here. So you can see everything in lowercase, and I want to use two words, that is company, two words I want to use. So what I did, I've used a dot. So to separate the two words, I'm using a dot. If there are more than one words you are planning to use for your package name, then I'll be using a dot. So this lowercase and dot. Next thing is interface. Interfaces is also will be like a class, and for interfaces, the only difference is it should be an adjective. So what we will be doing for interfaces, something called runnable, serializable. We'll give name like this for interfaces, because by seeing the name itself, we can identify, oh, it is serializable. The file name is serializable. Oh, then it is an interface. So you can very well identify by seeing the name itself. That's why we are following the naming convention. So first letter should be adjective and it should be an first letter should be uppercase and it should be a adjective. Last thing is constant. Constant, if you already learned some other programming language, you would have known this. Constant means if I'm using, if I'm assigning a number, say you have your your name. Your name is not going to change. It will be same. If you are named as Ashok, your name should be Ashok throughout your journey. That is called constant. So to define such things, we will specifically to differentiate that when I see a code, when I see a code, when I'm going through a file, by seeing a name itself, I can immediately say that this is a constant. How can I do? So the thing is, every word should be a uppercase. Each and every word should be a uppercase. If I want to declare something as a constant, so maximum number, this is what we used to give, max underscore number. So in my file, when I open and see something like this, max underscore number, everything in uppercase means you can close your eyes and say, because as per the naming convention, it is a constant. It won't change. So max number, this will give everything in uppercase. Okay. If you want more than one word, then you will use underscore. Again, I'm reiterating, for classes and interfaces, the first letter would be a uppercase. For methods, variables, the first letter will be lowercase. And packages also, the first letter is lowercase. But if you want to have more than one word for your package, that is 2 words, 3 words, then you have to separate it with dots. For constant, everything will be in uppercase. Okay, this is the naming convention we do follow in your Java program. Okay, these are the best practices we have observed so far. Now we are landing into the actual Java thing. Okay, so very first topic, what I am planning to discuss is variables. Let's start with variable because this is a fundamental, and based upon this, we can build our entire application. So very first thing what we are going to discuss is variables. What is variable? Say you are in a class, some you everyone would have studied some of your graduations, right? So let's take an engineering college itself. So in engineering college, there are some departments, IT, CSC, and all would be there. So in CSC, you have different classes like first year, second year, third year, fourth year, your final year will be there. Okay. So in first year, when you have joined, like 50 people are there in your class, and for your class teacher or for your subject teachers or the lecturers or professors whoever is coming, for them it is really hard to remember all the 50 names, and it is really hard to track you guys by using your names, because some people, there are some cases, there are 2 3 babus in the same classes itself, there are 2 3 rajus in the same classes itself. So what they will do, instead of remembering your name, they would have given you a roll number. They will arrange every names in the alphabetical order and they would have given a roll number to you. So what they will do, the next concept what we are discussing, variables. So in variables, this is the topic. If I want to get some names, what I will say, roll number 1 equal to Ashok. I'm randomly using names. I'm trying my best to not use your names. Let's see. And Babu. Roll number 3 is Chandra. Something like this. Okay. Some roll numbers they are giving you guys. Going forward, instead of calling Ashok, when they want to take attendance in the class, they will say roll number 1, roll number 2. So when roll number 1, if they say, It is Ashok only. Okay, so roll number is assigned for Ashok, but roll number 1, if somebody calls, instead of calling Ashok, are you available in the class? Ashok, can you tell your attendance? Instead of that, what your teacher will do, what your lecturer will do, they will say, they will have the attendance with them and they will say roll number 1, 2, 3, 4. If you say present, they will mark. If there is no answer, they will mark the absent for the corresponding roll number. This is how they would have done in the your school days, college days, whatever may be. Similarly, in Java, everything, not only in Java, we are in IT world. Everything is data. What and all we are doing, it's data. When you go to online shopping, it is some data. What I'm planning to purchase a shoe, that is the data. I'm giving an input to the online shopping, stating that there are so many products available, but I'm interested in shoe. Today I want to buy a t-shirt. Today I want to buy some uh, stationery items. Something I'm giving. These are all datas. Every day we are playing with datas only. This data have to be handled properly, have to be processed properly. How we can do it? Somewhere it is to be stored properly. So when you come into the Java world, everything will be stored in your memory. Every memory will have a memory address. Is it really hard for a developer stating that for shoe, if I want to buy a shoe, a memory will be created. There the shoe will be stored. The data shoe will be stored. The size of the shoe, color, whatever maybe I'm giving, it will be stored somewhere. A new memory locations will be given. If I want to buy something else, I told a t-shirt. For t-shirt, a new memory will be created and that will be used. When you do all those things, memory addresses would be there. And for a developer, it is really hard to remember all the memory addresses. That's why in the programming world, the programming languages have come up with the concept of variables. So for shoe, I'll be creating a variable like we created a roll number, right? Similarly, for a shoe, a variable will be created and my information, my data will be stored in the variable. Next time onwards, instead of saying or instead of giving instructions to the machine stating that get me the information from memory address 001, get me the information from memory address 002. It is really hard, right? I don't know what are the memory addresses available and what are the things are stored. I really don't know. It and really hard to remember everything. So what will happen? It is a challenging task. If I want to get information for shoe prices, I should not type get information from memory address 001. Instead of stating that, what I can do, I can assign a variable. So what I can do, I can say that I can declare a variable. So from variable, I can declare, I can give the name, okay, of the variable. I can give some names and I can say that shoe. What I want a shoe. So what I'm saying, I'm giving some name. So any name I can give. So I'm planning to give a name of product. Okay, what product I'm looking. So I'm looking for a product and the product is shoe. So this is called variable. Next time onwards, instead of saying that shoe, t-shirt, whatever maybe, I will just refer this product so that I will get the my own interest. It will say that when I click on product, obviously it is going to say that this customer is interested in shoe, customer B is interested in t-shirt, customer C is interested in stationery items. You can see. So this is called variable. If you simply say that product equal to shoe, the computer, that your Java will get confused because what is this? Suddenly something is coming as product. What is this? It has no clue. So what we are going to do here, we are going to introduce something called, I told it is a data, right? This is a data I'm storing. Shoe is a data. What is a type of this data? It is the string. So I have to specify that also. So shoe is a data which is of type string, and I'm storing in a place called product. So coming back to our example, if I want to track the student information, the same statement, how can I convert here is roll number 1 is assigned to Ashok, okay, and it is of string data type. So this is the rough thing we have done. This is the actual Java code. So let me go and type it in the beginning. Okay, so when I want something like this, roll number 1 is Ashok, roll number 2 is Babu, and roll number 3 is Chandra. So what I did, I have created a memory and I named the memory. Instead of calling the memory with the address names, because it is challenging to remember all the address and challenging to call with the address also. So what I'm doing, I'm naming the memory, and that is called variables. So the name of your memory, it is your variable. Going forward, if I want to call Chandra, what I will do, I will say, if I want, I will just say, hey, can you say who is roll number 1 in the class? Then I will say, I will print roll number, and I will run my program. So it is saying Ashok. For example, I want to know who is roll number 2 in my class. Then I will be saying roll number 2. Now it is printing Babu. Let me explain this statement. I told this is the print statement, right? Whatever you are giving inside this double quotes, it will be printed as it is. Whether you say hi, hello, bye, whatever, it will print as it is. This is your variable. It will print the value inside this variable. So when I give something like this without double quotes, it will try to get the value inside this. What is the value inside roll number 2 now? It is Babu. So whatever in my right hand side, so this particular line number 9, what it will do, whatever in my right hand side will be stored into the variable, the left hand side, roll number 2, it will store. So going forward, roll number 2, if I say, it is Babu. For my understanding, I gave some name as roll number 2, roll number 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever maybe. This is for my understanding. But what is the value of roll number 2? It is Babu. What is the name? Name is roll number 2, but the value is Babu. So when I give something like roll number 2 without specifying anything, okay, let me remove this double quotes and other things. Simply in the print statement, if I give roll number 2 alone, I'm not giving any double quotes, nothing I'm giving. When I try to run this program, I will get only the Babu. So you can see Babu is printed because I'm trying to print the value of roll number 2. What is the value? It is Babu. So next time when I want roll number 3, I can very well change it to roll number 3 and I can run my program. Now it will print Chandra. So now the concept is clear. Variable is a named one of your memory. For your memory location, you are giving some name, that is called variables, and it will vary. That is why it is variable. Another term also you can say. Today roll number 2 is Babu. Okay. Next day what happened is Babu got TC and he left, and you all moving to the second year. Now second year, they won't leave the roll number 2 as it is. What they will do? They will reshuffle everyone's roll number. This is not your exam registration number. Exam registration number means it will be saved throughout your 4 years of journey. But class roll number will vary from year on year, because if somebody would have added newly, somebody would have um, uh, uh, got TC and all. So what will happen? Next year, Babu got TC and Chandra became roll number 2, or a new member is added. Say one more time, Anita, one more person called Anita added. So what will happen? The roll number 1 itself will be Anita would be saved. So I can very well say roll number 1 is Anita, roll number 2 is Ashok, and roll number 3 is Babu. So this is how would have happened. So roll number 4 would be your Chandra. So the shuffle would have happened because I got a new joinee in my class. So now if I print roll number 1, previously it was saying Chandra, right? Now it is taking the new value. Going forward, roll number 3 means it is Babu because I've changed the value itself. So now when I run the program, it is saying Babu, but previously it was saying Chandra. Why? Because it's a variable and it can vary. Based upon the business requirement, based upon the need, we can add new values, we can change the value, we can modify the value. That is why it is called variables. And I've touched upon the concept constant also, right? If it is constant, you can't change at all, but variables, you can vary that. Okay, so with this I'm ending today's session. Variables again I'll be continuing more in tomorrow's session also, but